Hello. What if you wanted to read a book about teaching over the next academic year? What would it be? Now, it's not a great time to publish a live stream video on the last day of the academic year on a Friday night. So I apologize, but I'm logging off too, and I'm starting my brief summertime off. And I just wanted to share some of the books that are on my desk. I've got a pile of 17, so you can watch this at any time, pause and play it, and see some books that might interest you for your professional development. So I'm going to just, no slides, just going to hold a book up. And the first one I've got for you is quite a beast of a book. So I'm going to go through in no particular order some of the books that are on my desk that I get sent as a blogger, someone working in education. Some of the books I dip in and out of, some I read in full, some I just skim over, some I give away as kind of competition prizes in my life as a teacher blogger, and others I give to schools that I work with. So let's get started. The first book is this one, about our schools. It's a real heavy door wedge book published by two giants in English education, Sir Tim Brighouse and Professor Mick Waters. What they've done in this book is they've interviewed 14 education secretary states here in England. And I think, with their accumulative knowledge, as well as the people that they've worked alongside to publish this, and let's just have a look, 650 pages. I think this will keep anyone busy. And I think if you can suck all this up into your own knowledge, then it's going to be real power to you. So this is a book that I'm having on my desk over the next year as I dip in and out of all the different interviews. So that's my first book for people that might be interested. If you're like me, I like to read one or two of these in my summer vacation. Not everyone does, but I know some people do. So there's the first book. Let me put that over there. The second book was one of the key sources that I read in my own journey with memory. And this was a book published in 2014 called Memory in the Classroom. So long before many of us, including myself and Ofsted, started to talk about working memory, which now appears in lots of government documentation. So there's lots of strategies in here, lots of research, lots of interesting graphics, and a huge body of research and references. So it might also help with understanding how we learn and helping students achieve. My next book is Primary Ha by Mary Meyer and John Tomset. Both I've known for a very long time, publishing some important work on school curriculum. And this is just one of a book and a series of amazing things that they're doing, interviewing lots of teachers in schools who are refining and shaping their curriculum. Typically, the DT teacher in me, I pop straight over to the D&T chapter, where typically in primary schools, you have a non-specialist. It's not necessarily a subject that has a high profile, but pleased to read there's a good case study in here explaining how they embed a spiral curriculum from early years right up to year 6, and of 6, so about 1 hour of teaching DT a week, which is great. So that might be a book that you're interested for you. Another book, a new book published by Naomi Barker. This book is a teacher journal. Now, what I love about this, we all know that the most effective teachers need to be reflective. So how about holding a book in your hand where you've got lots of spaces to fill in reflection questions, and I guess build up your own diary, your own journal. Now, what I love about this book is it suits the rhythm of school life with chapters aligned to academic terms of the year. So there's a whole range of topics from relationships to safeguarding to appraisal and feedback. There's no aspect of school life untouched here. So you'll find this an interesting read if you like to write as you read. Next book I've got, so I've lost count of how many books I'm on. So this is book number 5, Retrieval Practice, Primary, by Kate Jones. Another brilliant book by Kate Jones. She spent the last few years of her working life mastering knowledge of retrieval practice. And many people on social media will know Kate and her great work here. She spent many years researching, interviewing, and working alongside some giants in education. And here she's got another great book full of practical strategies, another very popular book. So me as a non-primary specialist, it's really great to see how ideas might translate with our younger pupils. So if you've not seen this, you must have been hiding under a rock. I recommend you buy this one now. Now, another one. 2020, the brilliant Paul Kirshner and Carl Hendricks published a great book, a blue cover with How Learning Happens. And what I loved about it was each chapter was an individual read, lots of references, lots of QR codes. So they followed that great success, I suppose, and looked at the education research on how teaching happens. Now this, I have to say, if I had a favorite, this is something that's going to be robust, that's definitely going to stay on my desk next to me as I dip in and out of different topics. And I think it might be a seminal text that influences lots of us. So for teachers who are hungry for education research, who might want a new book to read over the summer or purchase it, and then for the year ahead, this book might be for you. Okay, so there's a great book. Next one, The Lean Education Manifesto by John Hattie. So I've had this book on my desk for about a month or so. It's another accessible guide. Most teachers will know Visible Learning by John Hattie and all the kind of phrases, what works best. Not many people know John's new website called Visible Learning Meta X. And what it is an online database of all the research of his meta-analysis and effect sizes. And it's fabulous if you've not looked at it. So I will share that in a link after this. But school structures, teacher training, accountability systems. It's a great book for people interested in education research. So someone like me, doctor research, this is a great place to look for signposting key stuff for people that have been doing this a long time. It might also be a good book for you if you're doing an MPQ or a master's, or like I said, a research degree. And it's another book for your desk. And I'm not surprised. It's not actually had an Amazon review, which I'm quite surprised by. So I think I might be the first to do that. Now, this book, The Joy of Not Yet Known. What I love about this, being a design and technology teacher and a teacher, is there's just so many visuals, color printed too. Not many books publish things in color, or at least in the teaching sector. You don't see very many. But what Marcelo's done here is he's, presented a beautifully book, but it's probably more for primary, interesting graphics and charts, but it kind of looks at how to develop teaching and learning culture, particularly in primary schools. And Marcelo's own research and experiences will probably provide you with a wide range of existing philosophies to help motivate you and take that back in. So, the whole range of curriculum and learning and case studies, there's tons of stuff in here. And I guess in terms of visuals, it's a very attractive book to read. Next book, The Big Next Thing in School Improvement. Now, I've had this book on my desk for a couple of months. I love anything written by Becky Allen. She's paired up here with head teacher Matthew Evans and teacher Ben White, and they provide a huge range of sources and references, all very impressive considering the book's quite a compact little book, easy to read, easy to access. Huge topics discussed, the what works and the dangers associated with that also. And the recent explosion of education research, so looking at working memory, knowledge-rich curriculum, personalized learning, data collection. There's everything here, great teaching hallmark. So a really interesting book. I just wish in Becky's book, there was an index. It was easy to access, but it's a great read and one that I'd recommend for people interested in how we improve our school systems. The next book, another big book, potentially a doorstop, but I wouldn't say use it as a doorstop. What I love about this great book by Hannah Wilson and Benny Cara is they've brought together some of the most important diversity, equality, inclusion topics, conversations that we all need to have in society, not just people working in education. There's about 500 pages Topics from gender reassignment to religion to marriage to race, religions, belief, sex, sexual orientation, and intersectionality. There's tons in here. What makes the book really practical and very appealing is every chapter is 5 or 6 pages only. So you can read them in isolation, and it's a great dip in and dip out or a type of book, which makes it really useful. There's a wide range of references. There's key questions, takeaways in every chapter. And I think it will leave even the most experienced educator with something to learn. So I think, if I could say get your copy of one of these books, it'd probably be this one. Alongside the same topic, I suppose, another relatively new book by Aisha Thomas called Representation Matters. And again, a really important book for us all. Becoming an anti-racist educator. It will help all teachers begin a journey with self-reflection, reviewing current practices, helping everyone start conversations about race and racism. Talking about language that we use, diversity, microaggressions, the quality, the lived experiences, white privilege in particular, and role models. And for me, as a white male man, this is a book that I need to read. And people, if you're visually like me, then this is a book that you also need to read too. So take a look at that. So that's another book that I have on my table. Now, another book that I nearly didn't want to keep on my table was this one, I Can't Do The Maths. Now, I fell for all the usual stereotypes. So if I'm honest here, this is where, I fell into the trap of lacking confidence in maths, and even the book title scared me. But what Professor Alf Coles and Natalie Sinclair do, they both do a great job for experienced teachers like me, explaining 5 common myths and why these might inhibit learners. So we know that every teacher is a teacher of literacy. It's the same for numeracy. We're all teachers of numeracy, and it's exactly the same. So we should all be doing our bit to improve our maths knowledge, our preconceptions, our misconceptions about how we can be better at promoting numeracy in all aspects of our work and our personal lives. So this is a book, despite my fear of the topic, I need to keep on my desk and that I keep popping in and out of. And as you will, I know it's a silly thing to say, but there's lots of numbers. And, if numbers, letters, languages, whatever else puts you a bit fearful, it may be a book for you, but I'm going to try and work through that one. And it might be a useful book for parents actually too. Now, next one, there's a whole series of these research ed books, and in collaboration with Tom Sherrington, the walkthroughs published by John Catt. Ethics of a bit of a mouthful there. Friday Night, An Ethic of Excellence by Ron Burgeon. Now, if you've not seen Austin's Butterfly, you might have been hiding in another cave and not been aware of research and the great piece of work. But what Sonia's managed to do is translate a great piece of research, apply it in her own setting, and give you a practical example of how she has translated this in terms of culture across her whole school organization in her life as a head teacher. So governors, curriculum, teaching and learning habits. Thompson explores this evidence-based approach in a lovely practical guide. And what makes these books great is they're just short and succinct. So there's a whole series of these, so do check them out. Right, I've got three or four more books to go. So what else have I got? Future Proof. Now, it's quite hard to write a technology book, an ed tech book, and make it practical. And I'm sure there are one or two that have done that really successfully. This book's about digital citizenship, so it's an important topic again for schools. Online safety, security, cyberbullying, digital threats to schools, etc., and to our young people. So in the book, they explore, how it rapidly changes. Our schools often get left behind with outdated hardware or just endless pieces of software that promise transformational outcomes. If you put me in a corner and said, is that a practical book? Well, to some degree it is. It's still grounded in experience. It summarizes lots of important topics in the digital space today. The book does offer lots of questions and lots of references and gives you lots of things to think about. And I think with the world of technology always evolving at a rapid pace, it'll at least give the school leaders watching or listen to this recording a way of kind of managing and protecting our young people who are new to technology in and out of school, and us starting to deal with it and manage and protect them. This book will give you lots to think about and much to consider. So 3 more. Next one, I've got Parklands. So the lovely Chris Dyson, head teacher at Parklands, there's the title, in Leeds in North England. So if you've not heard of Chris or seen his book, great cover. I've rarely visited a school and then seen it in a book, and this is one rare example. It's well presented, it's well written, it explains the story of Parklands and in their school community. And I've had the privilege of working alongside Chris and his teachers at his school, and it's just a fabulous place to be. So I guess the theory and the practice, seeing the theory in the book and then going visiting the school, Chris will be more than happy to welcome you. And I know there are lots and lots of primary schools who do very similar things. It's just great to see a school and see it in a book and know that the book actually lives out in practice. So it's a lovely little book, again, for anyone working in the primary sector, Parklands by Chris Dyson. Now, how about this? How one primary school abandoned written marking, fast feedback. Now, if you're a school leader watching this, it's in all our interest to tackle the marking burden. All the teachers I work with in any type of school across the world tell me they suffer from endless reams and reams of marking. So I guess it's in our interest to find out what this school's done to eradicate written marking. They've even gone as strong as to say abolished. So here's a book with a school case study that will help signpost ways to implement some of the ideas in your own setting for the year ahead. So if you're in a school that still promotes mark once a week, use X color pen of progress, this might be an important read. And it's practical, easy, lots of examples, lots of photographs, lots of questions. Another interesting book. Last one before I log off and leave you all alone for your summer vacation. And by the way, I do this video every year at the same time of year. So that's why I'm doing it now. Because there are people like me who love to read teaching books over the summer. Tools for Teachers by Oliver Lavelle. Now, Oliver's become a teacher in Australia, quite popular now here in England. He's most known for his podcast called treble R, so Education Research Reading Room, where he's interviewed lots of people on their thoughts on education. The book starts off with, explicit instruction, managing behavior and motivating young people in classrooms. So great topics for new teachers to the profession. I get the rest of the book looks at relationships, curriculum and leadership. And there's a good range of tables, graphics, lots of narratives, lots of reflection questions in here, and how it can be translated into your own classroom. Considering Oliver's a young man compared to me, he's got an abundance of knowledge and packed it all into this book. So that's a real credit to him in terms of his own professional development, his learning, and what he's managed to achieve in a short career to date. So there you go. So Tools for Teachers, Fast Feedback, Parklands, Future Proof. And yeah, I'm not pretending I've read all these yet. Some I have, some I haven't. I'm dipping in and out of some. But I just thought I'd signpost some books that you might be interested in for your summer reading. 1 or 2 that are fundamental to me in my own professional development, these 2 in particular. A couple that I'm going to have on my desk. 1 or 2 that I keep dipping back to in terms of this. A new book on my table. Some academic books that I always have that I dip in and out of. So Lean Education Manifesto, How Teaching Happens. Retrieval Practice, lovely Kate Jones. If you like to diarise your thoughts, there's a good one. Lots of new ideas and books on this, and many more to come from Tomset and Myatt. My own work on memory, one of many books that influenced my own work. And then this one, which I think is just a book you're going to keep for your entire life working in education. So that's a book for me that I'm going to just keep coming back to all the time. And what's great is the chapters and the texts It's a giant book, but it's really easy to read. Nice large font. So there's some books for your summer or for the academic year ahead. Right, I'm going to log off. I'm having a couple of weeks to myself. Obviously, I work in a different space here in education, not necessarily in classrooms as much as I do anymore. But it's important that us all log off. Let's all manage our own social media, and let's be kind to others who choose to tweet and blog in their own time. I think most importantly, wherever you are as an educator watching this, whether you're in the UK or elsewhere, we all need some downtime. We all need some things, some content and things to help us thrive and professionally develop. I guess to finish, in my context here in England, where most teachers are logging off for a well-deserved summer holiday, as ever, thank you for all the amazing work you do with our young people. I hope you've had a great week or day with your young people, and that you take time for yourself to recharge and relax. And as ever, thanks for watching. Thanks for using Teacher Toolkit. And if you've got any other books or things that you think I need to be aware of, or signpost to other people that to watch me here, then let me know. Otherwise, I'm off to go and spend some time with my family, and I shall be back online about mid-August. So everything from here is my alter ego, Mr. Scheduler. So I'm going to leave it there. Bye for now, everyone. Hope you found one or two ideas, and have a lovely summer. Speak to you soon.